Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down something every man has either experienced or will experience at some point. Why women suddenly value you when they weren't interested at first. Have you ever had a woman who barely acknowledged you suddenly start paying attention? Maybe she used to ignore your messages, keep you in the friend zone, or even act like you didn't exist. But now, out of nowhere, she's all over you, liking your posts, starting conversations, or even showing jealousy when she sees you with someone else. Why does this happen? Did she finally wake up and realize your worth? Did she suddenly develop feelings for you? Or is there something deeper going on? A lot of men make the mistake of thinking that when a woman who once rejected them starts showing interest, it means she's changed her mind because she sees their value now. But let me tell you the truth. Women don't operate that way. Attraction isn't something they figure out later. If she wasn't interested in you before, she had her reasons. And if she's interested now, she has reasons for that too. See, women don't just wake up one day and think, "Oh, I made a mistake letting him go." It's almost always about external factors. Maybe you've improved your status. Maybe another woman finds you attractive. Or maybe she lost access to the guy she actually wanted. So now she's reconsidering you. But here's the part that most men don't realize. When a woman suddenly starts valuing you, it's often because she sees other people valuing you first. That's how female psychology works. Women are wired to seek validation from their environment. They notice how others treat you, and that shapes their perception of your worth. If you were once invisible to her, but now she sees other women wanting you, or she notices you thriving without her, that's when she starts paying attention. It's not that she suddenly appreciates you, it's that she fears missing out. This is where most men fail. They think, "Oh, she finally sees me for who I am," and they run back to her, not realizing they were never her first choice. And the moment she gets the validation she was looking for, she loses interest again. That's why you see women chase a man who's moved on, only to disappear once he gives her another chance. In this video, we're going to break this down piece by piece. We'll expose the psychology behind why women do this, the triggers that make them change their behavior, and most importantly, how you, as a man, can position yourself in a way where you're never an option, but the only choice. Because let's be clear, women don't just suddenly value you. They value what you now represent. And if you don't understand why this shift happens, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of being ignored, then desired, then discarded, when something better comes along. Let's get into it. Before we start, I've created a community on Podia where I break down everything you need to know, step by step. You'll get no-nonsense, practical advice that will boost your confidence and help you build stronger, more meaningful connections. And the best part? The first 20 people who join will get an exclusive discount. So don't hesitate. Click the link in the description to grab your spot. If you know someone who could use this, share it with them. She sees you as a backup plan. One of the hardest truths men need to accept is this. Sometimes, a woman only values you when she realizes she might need you later. You weren't her first choice, but you were a good enough option to keep in the background. She knew you were interested, but she didn't see you as exciting, desirable, or high status enough to commit to. So, what did she do? She kept you close, just in case. She ignored your advances but stayed friendly enough so that you wouldn't completely walk away. She gave you just enough attention to keep you hopeful, but never enough to fully commit to you. Then suddenly, she starts showing more interest. But why now? Most of the time, it's because her original plan didn't work out. The guy she really wanted either lost interest, treated her badly, or moved on to someone else. Now she's looking at her options again, and that's when she remembers you. She didn't wake up with a new level of respect for you. She just realized she doesn't have the security she thought she had. And that's where a lot of men get trapped. They think she finally sees my value, when in reality, she just doesn't want to be alone or without options. Women don't like losing control over their options. If you've been chasing her, giving her attention, and showing her you're interested, she assumes you'll always be there. But the moment she sees you pulling away, whether you're focusing on yourself, talking to other women, or simply not giving her the same energy, panic sets in. Suddenly, she values you. Suddenly, she's interested. But not because her feelings changed, because her security did. Let's say there's a woman you were interested in. You pursued her, but she never took you seriously. She always had an excuse, always kept things casual, and you could tell she saw you as a low-priority option. Then, you stopped trying. You focused on yourself, hit the gym, leveled up, and started getting attention from other women. And guess what? Out of nowhere, she's checking in on you. She's asking how you've been. She suddenly has time for you. But here's what you need to understand. Her interest now doesn't come from genuine attraction. It comes from fear. Fear that she lost control over you. Fear that another woman is getting the attention she once had on standby. And if you take her back too easily, you reinforce the cycle. She won't value you because she truly wants you. She'll value you because she wants to keep you as an option. 2. You gained social proof. A woman's attraction isn't just about who you are. It's about how the world perceives you. Women don't just look at a man in isolation. They look at how others respond to him. And the moment she sees other people, especially women, valuing you, she suddenly starts looking at you differently. This is why a woman who once ignored you can suddenly become interested when she notices other women giving you attention. Before, she saw you as ordinary. But the second other women start flirting with you, laughing at your jokes, or wanting to be around you, she starts to question her own judgment. Did I miss something? Is he actually more valuable than I thought? See, women are wired to follow social cues. If you're alone, constantly chasing her, and no other women seem to be interested in you, she assumes you're not worth much. But the moment you become desirable to others, something switches in her mind. Now, you're not just a guy. You're a man that other women want. And in her world, that means you have value. This is why high-status men, celebrities, and successful guys rarely struggle with attracting women. It's not just about their looks or personality. It's about the perception that they are wanted. And the more wanted a man appears, the more attractive he becomes. Now, here's where most men go wrong. When a woman who once rejected them suddenly shows interest, they assume she's changed her mind because she finally sees them. But in reality, it's not about seeing you. It's about seeing how others see you. She didn't want you when you were chasing her. But now that other women want you, she feels like she's missing out. Think about a guy who's been overlooked for years. He's been in the background, always nice, always available, but never really standing out. Then, he starts dressing better, working out, making money, and most importantly, he stops chasing. Suddenly, other women start noticing him. He's getting more attention, and he's no longer giving that desperate energy. And now, out of nowhere, the same woman who once ignored him is interested. She's complimenting him, she's making excuses to talk to him, and she's trying to be in his space. But here's the part you need to understand. Her attraction isn't about you. It's about what you now represent. She's not drawn to the man you were. She's reacting to the attention you're getting, and if you're not careful, you'll fall into the trap of thinking it's about you, when in reality, she's just following the crowd. 3. She lost a better option. Women rarely walk away from what they see as the best option. If she wasn't interested in you before, it's usually because she had her sights set on someone she considered more exciting, more valuable, or simply a better choice. But when that option disappears, when he moves on, treats her badly, or proves to be unreliable, she suddenly starts looking at the men she once overlooked. This is when you see a woman circling back, acting like she's now interested, when in reality, she's just adjusting to her new reality. She's not drawn to you because she suddenly discovered your worth. She's drawn to you because she doesn't want to be left without an option. It's not about you being special. It's about her realizing she might have overestimated her chances with the man she actually wanted. A lot of men fall for this shift because it feels like validation. The woman who once ignored you is now paying attention, and that feels like proof that you've finally become the man she wants. But if you pay attention, you'll realize that nothing about you changed. What changed was her situation. The guy she was chasing is gone, and now she's looking for a new sense of security. This is why many men experience women coming back into their lives when they least expect it. You move on, stop trying, and out of nowhere, she resurfaces. Not because she had a sudden revelation about you, but because her original plan failed, and now she's weighing her other options. If she thought she could do better before, but now realizes she can't, she starts reconsidering the men she once rejected. The hardest pill to swallow is this: if she truly saw you as her first choice, she wouldn't have overlooked you in the first place. A woman who is genuinely interested will not hesitate, make excuses, or treat you like an afterthought. If she suddenly values you now, it's likely because she no longer has the options she once had. What men need to understand is that being someone's second choice is not a compliment. It's a warning sign. If she wasn't interested when she had more options, but now that those options are gone, she's giving you attention. It's not real desire. It's settling. And if you allow yourself to be her fallback plan, you'll never truly be the man she respects. You'll just be the man she runs to when her first choice is no longer available. 4. Your status and confidence changed. Women are naturally drawn to men who project strength, confidence, and status. If she wasn't interested in you before, it's often because you didn't stand out. You blended in, lacked presence, or simply didn't carry yourself like a man who commands attention. But the moment you level up, everything shifts. Men experience this all the time. When you were just going through the motions, playing it safe, or uncertain about yourself, she barely acknowledged you. But as soon as you started moving differently, dressing better, building something meaningful, becoming more confident, she suddenly sees you. But here's the key. It's not just about external success. It's about the way you carry yourself. Women can sense when a man knows his worth, when you stop seeking approval, when you no longer put women on a pedestal, when you walk into a room with purpose, people notice. And for women, this change is magnetic. The man she once dismissed is now someone who seems untouchable, and that shift alone makes her reconsider everything. But here's the reality. She didn't just wake up and realize you were attractive. She's responding to the new way you present yourself. She's sensing the confidence that wasn't there before. Maybe you're speaking with more authority, setting boundaries, or simply not giving her the same easy access to your time and energy. That shift forces her to reevaluate how she sees you. And the funny thing? The moment you truly start focusing on yourself, improving your life, and elevating your status, you stop caring about whether or not she sees your value. And that's when she finally does. Women don't chase men who are desperate for attention. They chase men who are too focused on their mission to be distracted. Every man has had a moment where a woman suddenly starts noticing him after he levels up. Maybe she ignored you when you were just another guy in the crowd, but now, when you exude confidence and self-assurance, she starts gravitating toward you. Not because she's changed, but because you have. But this is where men need to be careful. If she only values you after you've become successful, ask yourself, was she ever really interested in you? Or was she only drawn to what you became? A woman who genuinely sees your worth doesn't need to wait until the rest of the world validates you. She sees it early. If she only values you now that you've elevated yourself, it's not love, it's convenience. 5. Women crave attention. It's part of their nature. And when a man gives a woman consistent validation, affection, and emotional energy without her having to work for it, she enjoys every second of it. But here's the problem. Most women don't value that attention. They expect it, they enjoy it, but they don't appreciate it. Because in their minds, it's always available. This is where men go wrong. They assume that if they give a woman enough love, if they show her how much they care, eventually she'll realize their worth. But that's not how it works. Women don't fall for the men who worship them. They fall for the men they feel compelled to chase. When you were constantly texting her, complimenting her, and showing her you were always there, she never had to think about you. She never had to wonder if you were interested, because you made it so obvious. And in her mind, that meant she didn't have to earn anything. She could take you for granted because you made yourself too available. But the second you stop, the second you disappear, stop reaching out, stop liking her pictures, and stop giving her the validation she was so used to, that's when she starts to notice. Not because she suddenly realized she likes you, but because she misses how you made her feel. She misses the ego boost. She misses knowing she had your full attention. And most importantly, she misses the control she had over you. This is why some women come back. Not because they're truly interested, but because they want to make sure you're still an option. They'll send a random text, like an old photo, or even flirt with you out of nowhere. But the moment you respond, the game is over. She got what she wanted, your attention back. And once she has it, she loses interest all over again. This is where men need to wake up. A woman who truly wants you won't need to lose your attention to realize it. She won't need to test you or play games to keep you hooked. She'll show consistent interest from the start. But if she only values you when you pull away, that's not attraction, it's manipulation. The solution? Stop handing out free validation. Stop giving women your attention just because they exist. Make them earn it. Because the moment you stop being a source of endless validation, you'll see the truth. Who really wants you, and who just wants the feeling of being desired. And once you see that truth, you'll never allow yourself to be used again. 6. You became scarce and hard to get. Nothing makes people crave something more than the fear of losing it. When you were always available, constantly texting, checking in, and trying to spend time with her, she had no reason to value you. You were predictable, easy to access, and always within reach. There was no sense of urgency, no curiosity, no real reason for her to chase. But the second you pull away, everything changes. This is something every man has experienced. When you were putting in all the effort, she acted indifferent. But the moment you stopped reaching out, started focusing on yourself, and became less accessible, she suddenly noticed your absence. Now she's watching your stories, asking mutual friends about you, or even sliding into your messages. Women don't chase what they believe they already own. If she thinks you're always going to be there, she has no reason to pursue you. But when you disappear from her life, even if it's unintentional, she starts questioning things. Why isn't he texting me anymore? Is he seeing someone else? Did I misjudge him? That uncertainty makes her want to find out more. This is why men who focus on themselves naturally become more attractive. They aren't playing games, they're simply prioritizing their own lives. And the moment you stop treating her like she's the center of your world, she starts seeing you differently. But here's the harsh truth. Her sudden interest isn't necessarily about you. It's about her ego. She got used to the idea that you were an option, a backup, someone who would always be there just in case. The moment that certainty is gone, she starts feeling uneasy. It's not about realizing your worth. It's about realizing she might have lost control. This is why so many men see women coming back as soon as they start moving on. It's not love. It's not a sudden appreciation for who you are. It's the simple fact that now she has something to lose. And that fear of loss makes her chase. The most powerful position a man can be in is one of detachment. When you don't need her attention, when your happiness isn't dependent on her validation, you become valuable. Not because you changed, but because she can no longer take you for granted. And that shift, when she realizes you're not waiting around for her, is what makes her suddenly want what she once ignored. 7. She wants control over you again. Sometimes, a woman's sudden interest has nothing to do with attraction and everything to do with power. It's not that she suddenly sees your value, it's that she realizes she lost control over you. When a woman knows a man is emotionally invested, she feels secure. She might not want to be with him, but she enjoys knowing he's there as an option. But the moment that changes, her instinct is to pull him back in. This is where a lot of men get fooled. She ghosted you, ignored your messages, or kept you in the friend zone for months. But now that you've moved on, she's suddenly interested. Why? Because she's no longer in control. She doesn't like the idea that you've stopped caring. She doesn't like that you're not waiting around anymore. It's not love. It's about regaining the upper hand. Women do this all the time, sometimes without even realizing it. She'll text you out of nowhere, just to see if you'll respond. She might flirt with you, act more interested, or even suggest meeting up. But the moment she feels like she has you back, she pulls away again. Why? Because it was never about actually wanting you. It was about making sure she could have you. This is where men need to be smarter. If a woman didn't respect you when you were chasing her, why would she suddenly respect you now? If she only values you when she feels like she's losing you, then she never truly valued you at all. She just liked knowing you were an option, and as soon as she regains that sense of control, she'll go right back to ignoring you. The harsh truth is that a lot of men let this happen because they want to believe she finally sees their worth. They want to believe she made a mistake and is now realizing how great they are. But in most cases, that's not what's happening. What's really happening is she wants to make sure you're still available, because if she really wanted you, she wouldn't have waited until now to show it. So what's the lesson? Pay attention to why she's coming back. If she never gave you the time of day before, but now that you've moved on, she's suddenly interested, don't fall for it. A woman who truly wants you will make it clear from the start. A woman who just wants to keep you as an option will play these games. And a man who understands the difference will never let himself be controlled again. At the end of the day, a woman's sudden change in interest is rarely about you. It's about her. It's about her ego, her desire for control, her fear of losing something she once took for granted. A high-value man doesn't fall for this cycle. He doesn't let himself be played by a woman who only wants him when it's convenient for her. He knows that if she truly respected and desired him, he wouldn't have had to walk away for her to see it. And here's the brutal truth. Women don't regret losing you. They regret losing the control they had over you. That's why they come back. Not out of love, not out of sudden realization, but because they need to reassure themselves that you're still an option. The moment you recognize this, you stop being manipulated. You stop reacting to her games. You stop allowing her to dictate your value. The question is, have you ever experienced this firsthand? Have you ever had a woman ignore you for months, only to suddenly show interest when you pulled away? Drop a comment below and share your story. I'll be reading and responding because I want to hear from you. Let's create a space where men can learn from each other, recognize these patterns, and take control of their own value. At the end of the day, a man who understands his worth is a man who can never be played. If you're looking to take a deeper dive into these concepts, join my Podia community, link in the description. It's packed with powerful insights to help you master your masculinity in today's dating world. Stay strong, stay focused, and protect your power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.